Hi everybody, welcome to week 13. We are counting them down. All right, this week we've got engage in scholarship. And scholarship is really, for some people it's a scary topic. For me, it's a really interesting topic. So it used to be that scholarship was really only what Boyer defines as a scholarship of discovery. Actual research. You do the background, you do an experiment or a qualitative data gathering, you crunch the numbers, you come up with a conclusion, and hopefully you're able to publish it or present it someplace. So it used to be that's what we were only talking about with scholarship. But now Boyer has given us these four different areas of scholarship, and many colleges and universities are allowing that broader definition of scholarship where you're not just doing pure research. It's much more than just teaching in the classroom. It is going beyond and actually being a scholar and studying something and making it better. But there's more latitude in what you can do. And if you're ever in academia and you want to pursue rank advancement, going up to be an assistant professor, associate professor, whatever, you do have to engage in scholarship. Also, in the hospital or clinical setting, we engage in scholarship there too because action research is part of scholarship. Again, sounds scary, but really isn't. Action research is basically, there's a problem. You've identified a problem, maybe in the clinical setting, and something isn't working right, a process. So you look at all the literature, see what everybody else has done, get together a group of people, brainstorm after you've done reading, and come up with something you want to try at your place. You measure the baseline problem, you implement your new thing. After it's been going a while, you measure the issue again, see if it got better or worse. That's action research. And I would like to see so many more clinicians publishing their action research of things that are actually happening in the clinical setting, rather than just academics, right? So I love action research. I'm going to include an article on action research in academia, things you can do in your courses, and action research in the clinical or hospital setting, an example of that. And then I am going to do a little short article on the four areas of Boyer scholarship. Your Halstead book is very good for a lot of things, but not describing the four areas of Boyer's scholarship. It really glosses over them, and a lot of my students get very confused about what those entail. So I'm going to be posting those three things. Definitely look at the Boyers because you really need to know that. But if you have time this week, look at the other two on action research. I think you'll find them pretty interesting, actually. Okay, so this week, by now, well, all of the test analysis papers that were handed in by the due date have been scored and posted, and the rest of them are in process, so they should actually be done pretty soon. And a lot of you came up with some really good test questions. I was very pleased. Test questions are hard to write, and really making sure that your stem is clear, that your right answer is totally right, and that your distractors couldn't be right under certain circumstances. That's hard to do. Test writing, really good test writing, is hard. It's hard to make those questions. And so I appreciate that. The one area, two things. Validity. Content validity is something that I don't think everybody quite tuned into. How do you know that the content that you pulled from to make these test questions is measuring what it's supposed to measure to meet your objectives? Okay? We know validity. Is it measuring what it's supposed to measure? So content validity is, where did you come up with the content for these questions? How did you determine that these are the right things that people need to know about this topic? Okay? And so usually we try to hang our content on something. getting it from a certification review book, getting it from a textbook, getting it from journal articles from the professional organization about the topic. Things like that, where experts have told us these are the things people need to know about this topic if they're going to be a nurse in this area. That can enhance your content validity. But then also, let's say you write up your test, and let's say I'm writing it on pediatric nursing, okay? I would then want to give that test to 2 or 3 expert pediatric nurses, have them read through it for both the normal, can you read the question, is my grammar right, spelling errors, but also, is there anything that snagged you up? Are any of those distractors a little too close to the right answer? Did I leave anything out, information that's critical no to answer the question on a couple of them? Things like that. You can also enhance your content validity by having your tests reviewed by experts. And when I was in academia writing test questions, I always have other people review my test questions. There inevitably will be always something that you missed. It might just be little, but it might be a big thing, and better to find out beforehand than afterwards. The other thing regarding reliability. So we know that we'd all like our reliabilities of instructor-made tests to be in the 0.7 to 0.8 range. Ta-da! That doesn't always happen. Especially if you have a smaller class, if you have a fairly homogeneous class. In the ideal setting, you would use at least 30 questions and preferably 50 on a multiple choice exam, and you would give that test to at least 30 students to be able to ensure that your reliability numbers were trustworthy. And so if you get into academia and start using the computer programs and doing your KRs and things like that, don't be surprised if you come up with a 0.5, 0.6, something in that range, but things look really, really good for the number of reasons that I discussed earlier. So anyway, it's not terrible. And then you get one back and it's like 0.72 and you're like, yay! All right, enough of that. Portfolios due this week. I'm really interested to read your portfolios. They're kind of fun. It's kind of neat looking back on your accomplishments and how far you've come, what you've been able to do in your career. So remember, we're putting these together as if we were applying for a nursing position as a nurse educator in any of the realms, or we're applying to be certified as a nurse educator, something like that. Okay, so we're trying to prove to people that you've got something going on in terms of competencies, preparedness, you have a clue about Boyer, different things like that. Okay, so I would read the Boyer article that I'm attaching and double check that you got Boyer right in the portfolio. Just an FYI. All right, I think that's about it. I'll be posting this video in the evening when I get home, and hopefully you can read it, and then let me know what you think about Boyer and the action research and how scholarship ties into things. All right, see you in the main forum.